Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Tech Wizards. In this video, I'm going to talk about top best podcast apps for Android. So, first of all, what are podcast apps? Apps are listing directories you can download and install on your Android or iOS service. Commonly, this would be your smartphone, though it could also be anything from your Apple Watch to Amazon Echo smartphone speakers. Put simply, one of these apps can be your one-stop shop for listening to or subscribing to your favorite podcast. How do podcast app works? Design and feature vary from podcast app to podcast app, but they all essentially work in the same way. There are the main interface, which usually shows you a selection podcast, helps get you started. These tend to be in the form of topics, charts, or other curated sessions. You might find something you like in the recommendation, but the real value of podcast app is their search function. You can type the name of show, a topic, a keyword, or a question when looking for something new to listen to it, and it will throw up a list of podcast or podcast episodes. You can test water by listening for a few minutes. Then, if something grabs you, you can hit follow or subscribe. This means all new podcast episodes from this show will be delivered to you automatically. Can I record on a podcast app? It's worth mentioning to do not all podcast apps are focused on listening. Some apps are built for podcasters to help them create content. That's a subject for another discussion. Although now that we are clear on what podcast have, how do you go about choosing the best one for you? What are the best podcast apps for your tastes and habits? To start, think about what kind of podcast apps you enjoy and how you listen. Are you listening to interview or discussions? Do you listen to show with multiple layered sound? Are you using your car speaker while driving? Do you listen with headphones while multitasking or relaxing? Whatever you need, or there are podcast apps that focuses on your need. Car listening and navigation. If you listen to podcast while driving and your car was built after 2014, chances are good that your car has an Apple CarPlay or Android Auto installed in its system. This system makes it easier for you to use your phone apps. If you listen to podcast while driving, you want a podcast listening app that has some grouping system like use, controlling voice and amplifying audio. Not all voices are alike, and some listeners want control over how podcast voices are presented. Many podcast listening apps give user a variable speed playbacks. If you want your daily news podcast in a third of time, this is a helpful feature. Can a podcast app improve audio quality? A podcast sound quality is the responsibility of its creator. But as we have covered above, some podcast app will provide advanced feature intended to improve certain things. If podcasts sound terrible in the first instance, it's unlikely that any amount of audio effects will improve it. If there is a show whose content you really like but the audio quality makes your ears bleed, it might be worth a tactful email to that creator with some pointers. AI audio has made some frighteningly good leaps in the past 18 months, so undoubtedly we will see an all-in-one tool that can solve all any sound issues at some point in the future.